YouTube. Good morning if you are watching live online on Facebook and YouTube. I'm going to change my glasses and let's have a little bit of practice. We'll focus a little bit again, if you were joining the class on Tuesday, a little bit more balance work and also a little bit more of the squats and the crawls as well. So we'll start off as always with a little bit of mobilization. Taking your feet shoulder width apart, we'll just start knocking. Tend to practice these same mobilization movements, but really important to work on spine health and get the spinal fluids moving and get the joints moving. Because if the spine starts to tighten up, that'll affect shoulders, it'll affect hips and knees and ankles. So this movement or this little practice is really working on rotation of the spine. So remember, we need a tall, long spine, central rotational axis from the crown of the head. So we're rotating each of the individual vertebrae. And the upper spine or the thoracic spine, or where you get into that upper back, that has much more of a degree of rotation than the lower back. So I want you to bring your attention to between the shoulder blades and that thoracic spine and just relaxing the shoulders. Relaxing the shoulder blades and just feel the rotation through that upper spine. This is not forcing it. Remember that the power is coming from the lower body, from the feet and the ground. You're grounded, coming up through the hips, and the spine is just rotating due to that power from the lower body. And we're just letting that upper back relax, soften. And as I say, anytime we're doing this, we're not forcing, we don't want to overstrain. And you will know if you're pushing too hard or forcing too hard because the breath will change, or you'll hold the breath. So if you can just breathe calm and relaxed, easy in and out through the nose, then that's good. And then we're just going to gradually slow it down, slow it down, slow it down. And when we move into water waves, you're just adding a little bit of resistance. So it's almost like you're watching in slow motion. So just imagine that you are maybe moving your hands through clouds or through water. And working your way up, ground upwards, just bring your attention to the ankles and the feet. And notice the rotation in the ankles. Just gentle rotation, movement through the feet, through the ankles. And then coming up to the knees, so you have a little bit of bend in the knees, a little bit of softness in the knees. Notice that rotation or twist, however you want to think about it, but just that rotational, spiraling movement through the knees. Bringing your attention up to the hips, so the joints, the bones, the top of the leg bone, the femur, that's a ball and socket joint in the hip. Big joint there, just oiling the joints, feeling that spiral, that rotation through the hip joints. And then all that rotation through the spine, work your way up from the sacrum, lower back. Really just visualize each of those vertebrae, upper back. Just that little bit of rotation through the neck, so we're not locked. And then shoulder joints, spiraling, elbow joints, wrists, fingers, and then just gradually slow it down. Gradually slow it down and just take a moment to stand. So remember, every single time you take a step, there is a very, very small spiral rotation, foot and ankle, knee, hip, all the way up through to the spine, shoulders. So you get every single time you take a step, we have this rotation going through the whole body. Now, obviously, it's not big movements like that, obviously, but that's what helps us go straight forwards with a flowing movement. You may notice if you tighten the hips or the spine is tight, as people get older, then you see sort of like wobbling movement, side to side movement. So this rotation through the ankle, through the knee, through the hip, through the spine, through the arms is that whole smooth movement as you step forwards. So just bear that in mind, how important this rotational movement that we're practicing here is. And then we'll do our spinal cord breathing. So this is flexion and extension. So a little bit more bend in the knees. I'll show you from the side. We expand, lift up the sternum, lift up the chest, and we'll look up a little bit. When we are looking up, make sure you extend from the middle of the thoracic spine here. So what I don't want is this thoracic spine tight and you just using the neck like this, because then we're just compressing the cervical spine there, and then we're also compressing the lower back there. So opening up that thoracic spine and then curling up into a little ball there, tucking the pelvis under. So we're getting nice open extension and flexion. Get yourself into that nice flow of movement. Remembering not to force or strain. It's just like a very, very gentle stretch, elongating the spine. Think of how animals stretch, how animals move, how a cat stretches. Once you get your movement going, we'll breathe in as you expand. And that's just a quiet breath, a light breath. You're not taking any big breaths, you're just letting the breath be natural, just breathing in just the volume of air that you need. Soft breath, soft light breath, breath out as you contract. On the next in-breath, just do a rotation to one side and breathe into one side. And then breathe back out down the center. And we'll just go side to side for a few breaths. Just in your own time. Don't need to follow me or anyone else on the Zoom if you're watching on Zoom. do one more each side. And then take a rest. Just give yourself a moment. And then stepping out again, if you brought the feet closer together, or if you've already got your feet there, shoulder width apart, we'll do that little bit of lateral flexion. So lateral flexion is the spine just waving side to side. Tom is going seaweed foraging. That sounds really exciting. It's a nice way of visualizing this. It's like seaweed under the water. So hips glide side to side, and then the spine follows. And you may find some little crunches, creaks, particularly maybe around the neck. This is where I personally find a lot of difficulty sometimes just to let that go, but without flinging my head side to side. The idea is the movement again comes from the lower body, and the spine waves all the way up from the lower body. So if I was to be moving my shoulders, you'd see me leading with the shoulders, or if I was moving my head, you'd see me moving my head. I'm just letting that spine wave. Also works if you think about lengthening up as well. So creating space between each of the vertebrae. Nice, and then just slowing it down, slowing it down, slowing it down. Let's do a little bit of balance. Balance obviously is key, not just as we get in older, but at any time it's really important to be able to balance and find your awareness and your alignment with gravity. So whether that's balancing on two legs or on one leg, the more the more aware you are of your alignment with gravity, the more efficient you're going to be in any movement, and the safer you're going to be in any movement as well. So a nice way to start that off, I'll show you from the side again, you can keep facing the front, is just have an awareness of where our center of gravity is when we're standing, which is usually just below the belly button here, and in towards the spine. Get that spine nice and long, and then you're just almost like tilting that spine forwards, just taking the spine forwards. So just gently rocking forwards and backwards. And then bring your awareness to the feet, and you can feel as you rock back a little bit more weight through the heels, as you rock forwards a little bit more weight through the ball of the foot. But keeping this spine long, and that spine is guiding the movement. So if we rock forwards and we fold at the waist, we overrun, we lose our good center of gravity. If we rock backwards and lean backwards, we lose that stability as well. So just keep that nice, strong, but not over tense, not rigid structure. And this is where the idea, the principle from Qigong, of that balance between strength and softness. So even in this simple movement, where do I need to be strong? Where can I soften and relax? I can soften the knees a little bit. Don't have to hold tension in the fingers and in the hands. I can relax the face. But I need to be strong through the spine. I need to be tall and strong through the spine. But I can be a little bit softer through the front of the body. Very, very simple movement. But again, as we're stepping forwards, as we're moving forwards, as we run forwards, if you're running, then what happens is you shift your weight forwards and then take a step. So it may seem a simple practice, but just getting this idea of balance and having that body balanced as you have that very subtle shift forwards and backwards. And then if you're comfortable and confident in that, what we can do is you might want to step a little bit wider apart. As you shift forwards, we just raise the bubbling spring, so we just lift the heels up. And then we just very, very slowly lower the heels and rock back. So we're just challenging our balance a little bit more. Come forwards, raise on the ball of the foot. So the ball of the foot, that point underneath the big toe in Qigong, is the bubbling springs, where you draw energy through the kidney meridian into the body, from the ground upwards. When we do the fountain in the 5 elements, you're drawing the energy from the bubbling spring up. And rock back. And again, it seems a simple movement, but notice if you create any, I'm holding tension in my hands, or I'm stopping breathing. So see if you can keep strong where you need to be strong, and soft where you can be soft. It's always that combination of strength and softness, strength and relaxation, alignment and relaxation. Too strong and everything's tense and we waste energy. Too relaxed and everything's floppy and it's hard work. So getting that balance. And then if you feel comfortable with this, what you can then do is, and you may want to go a little bit wider stance on this. Again, you find your comfortable position. As you rock forwards, just bring your arms up and then slowly down. So again, it's just a little bit more challenging because we change where our center of mass is, because we're raising the arms up. So we're just challenging ourselves a little bit more and helping our body find its natural, or it's where it needs to be aligned to gravity in this particular movement, in this particular situation. If you wobble, that's absolutely fine. It's your body learning. As long as you're safe, you're not falling over. So not everyone has to be perfect. Every movement has to be perfect. Let's do a couple more. It's also really good at working the feet and the ankles. Good. And take a moment. You might want to give your legs a little bit of a shake out. And then we'll do some single leg balance. So take your feet, just outside of hip width apart. And I will mirror you. So the first thing we do without doing any movement is you just be aware that you are going to stabilize down the whole left-hand side of the body. Now that doesn't mean to say you have to tense up that whole left-hand side, but you stabilize that left-hand side of the body. You put the weight a little bit more through that left-hand side of the body. So you shift the weight, and then as you're shifting, you just peel the heel of that right leg off the ground. So you just got the ball of the foot on the ground. So that's just helping to stabilize you. And then we shift the weight back to the center and then stabilize down the right hand side of the body. So that little bit of weight shift, peel the heel. So you just release. It's almost like you're taking a pin out. You release the hip and the knee and the ankle of that left side. Keep the knee soft on the standing leg, but keep that standing leg straight. So we don't want to go on a bent knee like that. We don't want to lock the knee out. So you just keep a soft knee but a straight leg. It's just about, so it's all like releasing the thigh, not over tensing the thigh. And then just go side to side. So there is that little bit of weight shift, side balance, side balance, side balance. So you've got the majority of weight on that standing side of the body, on the standing leg. Spine stays long. And without hurting yourself, just keep going side to side. I'll show you from the side. Without putting too much pressure on the lower back or anything. If anything hurts you, stop. I just want you to explore what happens if you start to lean back and then lose that center line. How different that affects this hip here, the hip joint. So as you go to one side, oh look, if you lean back, you can really feel that hip joint overloading in the wrong place. And same thing if you lean forwards, then that whole lower body drops forwards. And then see, going from that spine nice and tall, the difference that makes when you have that really good balance of the upper body on the lower body. Good. And then take a rest there. Next movement, you have the option to keep doing what we did there, or if you want to challenge yourself a little bit more, is stabilize on that. I'll mirror you left, left. If I'm mirroring you, that's your left side of the body. And then you lift elbow, knee. So you lift that opposite side, keeping tall through the spine. Slowly down. Balance, shift the weight, be comfortable in stabilizing. And then opposite side. And then just go side to side. Again, if you wobble, that's fine. Please be safe, don't fall over. Take it easy. Remember that little tip if you were joining on Tuesday, about rather than thinking of lifting the knee, think of dropping that hip, the leg bone in the hip socket. It's a really nice visualization. It's just freeing up. It gives you a little bit more length here, rather than thinking of compressing or impinging the hip, that hip fold. Remember, you can also use that opposite hand, just resting gently on a tiger's head. That gives you another sense of balance. Let's do a couple more. And if you want to challenge yourself a little bit more, you can step out a little bit wider. You can go a little bit lower and then slowly come up to standing. Remember to straighten that standing leg, but not to lock it out. So it's like I'm stepping across, standing tall, lengthening the spine. Stepping across, standing tall in the tree. Stepping across. But again, you can happily just do standing, stepping and peeling the heel, if that works for you. Good. Have a little rest, shake your legs out, maybe have a little walk around. That's gone quick again. The classes this week have gone really, really quick. Let's do some tigers. So taking your feet about shoulder width apart, tiger claws, hips glide back, just going to a comfortable depth. So maybe it's there. And then coming up to standing. Let's reach high with the tiger claws. Hips glide back. So it's like you're sitting on a chair behind you. Come back up, reach tall. So if you watch me from the side, I'm keeping I'm facing forwards. I'm looking to the horizon there. I'm not leaning over. I'm not looking down there. So keep that face forwards towards the horizon. If you can go a little bit lower. But again, remember, it's not about forcing or straining. Let the breath guide the movement. So just breathe easy in and out through the nose. use the fingers. So when you use the fingers there, it really helps to strengthen the back there. It keeps the back nice and strong. Keeps you facing forwards, looking forwards. Again, it may just be here. That is absolutely fine. Watching the breath. And now if it's comfortable for you, if you can get a little bit deeper, that's absolutely fine. If not, it's absolutely fine. You can just keep doing simple tiger. But if it's working for you and you have the space in front of you, we're just going to come down and we're going to reach our left hand forwards, pop our left hand on the floor, and then pop our right hand stepping forwards a little bit, just rock forwards. And then step back into that tiger position and come back up to standing. Reaching tall, coming back down. And then we'll reach forwards with our right hand. So we're just going into a crawl. Reach forwards with our right hand. Reach forwards with our left hand, nice and slow. When you come back slowly back, sit into that squat position and then come up to standing. Stand tall. Let's do one more each side. Left, right. Putting that weight through the upper body. So it's a good way to strengthen that upper body. Back. Breathing easy. If the breathing gets a little bit ragged, just stop. It's not about forcing. And if you're just doing the normal tigers, that's absolutely great. One more. Coming back up. Opening up now. Bringing your hands over the lower belly, lower dantian, bringing your feet together. And just closing your eyes for a moment. Lots of work today, lots of balance, getting that spine energized. Now just giving yourself a moment just to let the body rebalance, find its own natural balance. And then when you're ready, just opening your eyes, stepping out, giving yourself a little bit of a brush down. Sorry, we've gone over a couple of minutes there again. Get a little bit carried away. Down the legs. And we will finish there. We will do a catch-up. Gillian mentioned a catch-up for our 2022 challenge, so I'll get that posted and let you know when we're going to do that, because I'm running with Elaine tomorrow, so we'll catch up on that. And there will be an Unlock the Power of Breath workshop coming up, maybe in a couple of Saturdays time, so I'll keep you posted on that as well. But in the meantime, thanks for joining today. I hope you enjoyed the session. Have a fantastic rest of the day and the weekend, and I'll see you on Tuesday for some more Qigong flow and breath work. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day.